What's up YouTube, it's Toriv.fit. Welcome to my channel. This is my first ever YouTube video. Today I'm going to be talking about how I passed the NASM test at 19. I took it in January 2020 and I'm just going to be giving you guys tips on what was mostly on the test and kind of help you guys out with the facts. On this channel, I'm going to supply you guys with workout videos you can follow along to, workout tips, nutrition advice, the whole 9 yards. I'll also be doing day in the life and vlogs for y'all as a personal trainer. Definitely want to give you all the tips I can. Alright guys, let's get into the facts part of this video. I'm going to be going through the top 5 things I think you need to know for the NASM test. Starting with number 5 is dynamic versus static stretching. This is huge and a lot of people get this wrong. I still see trainers doing static stretches before their workouts. You don't want to do a static stretch before a workout. You want to do them after. A static stretch is something that you're holding for 30 seconds. So a lateral lunge, if you're holding that, or if you're doing the quad stretch holding your heel at your glute, you don't want to be holding a stretch, doing a static stretch before a workout. You want to be doing those after. What you do want to be doing before a workout is a dynamic warm-up or dynamic stretches. Example for those are like T-spine rotation or jumping jacks, something to get the heart rate up, and then of course you want to be doing warm-up sets after that. Alright guys, coming in at number 4, we're going to be talking about the 3 different planes of motion. They are sagittal, frontal, and transverse. You not only have to know these for specific questions on the test, but you're going to have to know the different planes and different movements you do in them to answer other questions on the test. So this is very important. Starting with sagittal, it's when your body is moving front to back in different exercises. So an example for those would be like back squat or bicep curls, moving back and forth. We're not going to the side or twisting our body, we're just moving back and forth. Number 2 is the frontal plane. This is when your body is moving to the side. The example for that one could be side raises or a lateral lunge. Anything you're moving to the side when your body doesn't move back and forth or twist. Guys, number 3 is that transverse plane. This will be movements where your body is twisting. So it could be running or swinging a golf club. You're not going back and forth or side to side, but your whole body is twisting. Coming in at number 3, we have upper cross versus lower cross syndrome. What muscles are shortened versus lengthened? This is something that I didn't see a lot on the practice guide, so I didn't think it would be a lot on the test, but there was a couple questions, and so I definitely should have studied that a little bit harder. So to give you guys an example, for lower cross syndrome, a muscle that is lengthened are the glutes or transverse abs, and for upper cross syndrome, muscles that are lengthened are the mid and lower traps. Guys, we're down to number 2. This is something that I actually really enjoyed learning about and was on the test very often. It helps me in my own lifts just because I learned this. So number 2 is what muscles are under versus overactive in different movements. The most popular exercise that they talk about is the back squat. So you'll see a lot of questions and you'll definitely need to know what muscles are under versus over when you do different things in your back squat. So I'm going to give you guys one example. If your knees cave in during your squat, that indicates that your glutes are weak and your quads are overactive. So that means your glutes are underactive, not working like they should. You want to make sure that your clients drive their knees out over their toes to activate their glutes and still work their quads and glutes about the same. Alright guys, ringing in at number 1 is of course that OPT model. This is what NASM is all about. There was a lot of questions on this and it is something good to know. So what you guys will have to memorize is the sets, reps, rest time, and tempo for all 5 phases, which is good to know because you can't just start your client that's never worked out before in the power phase. They're going to have that stabilization and strength to back it up to move on to that phase. Alright guys, so starting off with the stabilization phase, you're going to have some higher reps, lower sets, and short rest time. As you go throughout the phases, that rest time is going to lengthen. You'll get more sets in there and pretty low reps moving into phase 4, and then phase 5 will be 1 to 20 on those reps. Alright guys, that concludes what I'm going to be talking about dealing with my top 5, but definitely make sure that you're taking all those practice quizzes on NASM throughout the chapters and be getting 90s or 100 on all of those. And then at the bottom, there's one final study guide test, and there should be the 100 questions on that. Definitely make sure that you're taking that. On the NASM test, there's actually going to be 120 questions, but 20 questions aren't going to count towards your score. They're just kind of pushing new questions that are going to be on the next year's test because they change the test questions every single year. Seriously, just use NASM's questions and practice tests on their site. You really don't have to buy somebody else's practice guide. I would see ads all the time because I was looking up NASM constantly, and you seriously don't need to spend $50 on somebody else's practice guide when NASM has them there for free. YouTube videos really helped me know what is going to be on the NASM test the most, but then when I took it, I saw things a little bit different, so I'm just trying to give you guys as much advice as I can. Make sure you study my top 5 because that's what I saw in the test the most, and I'll see you in the next video.